Hello, hello, hello. I'm Josetta Yvonne, your abundant life and divorce coach, coming on for a quick moment with a quick message on this Tuesday. I hope this video finds you well. It is super rainy and dreary here, so I hope everyone is staying safe out there. I've heard so many sirens today. It is ridiculous. So make sure that if it's wet where you guys are, that you're driving safe, driving for yourself and the other drivers. So I had gotten a gift from my sister. I think it wasn't in 2023, but in 2022, my sister got me this book by Michelle Obama called The Light We Carry. And I kept reading a little bit of it and then putting it down, then reading it some more, then putting it down. And if you're like me and you have children, sometimes you can't get straight through something unless they're like asleep or playing a game or, I don't know. It's just your life is full of interruptions, is what I'll say. So I decided to take out some time these last month or whatever, because I have not really been on social media since last year, really. I go on and off, but I'm not really active anymore in that space, besides YouTube. But people always talk about music therapy, dance therapy, nature therapy. But for me, curling up with a good book with some quiet time is a form of book therapy. It's very relaxing. It's very soothing. It is a form of my self-care and another way of just feeding myself, giving myself something that I need. But I wanted to come on and share some things that I read here that I thought was really good and may help and resonate with others, inspire, bring clarity, or just add value. So let me go ahead and get into it and stop rambling. So the first part I wanted to point out in her book that I really liked, she says here, starting kind does not necessarily mean starting grand. You don't need to make any declarations about what you're going to do in a day. Discover some deep new well of confidence or pretend that you're invincible. And in this section of the book, this is page 85, she talked about her friend's husband, that whenever he woke up and he got up in the mirror in the morning, he would say, "Hey, buddy." And he would speak nothing but kindness to himself, kind of as if hyping himself up. He would say things like, "You're here, and that's a happy miracle, so let's get after it." And when she was sharing that portion, she talked about how many times we wake up in the morning and we don't greet ourselves in the mirror with kindness. And the interesting thing is when I was reading this, I thought about normally in the morning, she's absolutely right. Normally, when I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh man, dark circles, need to brush my teeth, And I'm going through my actual to-do list for the week or for that day. So I get up early at 5 something. So I know once I get done, I gotta go make sure I get my son up next because he have to be at school by a certain time. Then it's time to make sure he has breakfast and then get my daughter up and then make sure they look good. We head out, drive to school, get in the line, etc., etc. You know the deal. So now I am being more mindful because I am a positive person for the most part. But I had to admit, when I greet myself in the mirror early in the morning, first thing when I wake up, I'm not normally looking directly at myself and saying, hey, Josetta, today is going to be a great day. You look amazing. High five. I'm not doing any of that. Normally, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's 5 a.m. already. I feel like I didn't get enough sleep. I should have went to bed earlier instead of watching that movie. But yeah, I thought that was a great tip of hers of saying, start yourself off by being kind with yourself in the morning. And of course, I know a lot of us do gratitude journals, but I thought this was a great addition to that. That if you don't even do a gratitude journal, at least be kind to yourself in the morning when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're getting ready to face your day. Be kind to yourself. The next point that stood out to me that I really loved is that her father, he had MS, and sometimes he would drag his foot. And so when they would be out, people would sometimes just kind of look and stare at him. And she would wonder, like, how does that make him feel? Like that's hard. It was probably hard for her to see. And her dad told her, no one can make you feel bad if you feel good about yourself. And I sat with that. No one can make you feel bad if you feel good about yourself. That is an awesome lesson to learn at a young age. Because I don't know if I knew that as a kid. I think, of course, as I got older, it was kind of whatever. And I think as kids, we would say sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. But I never heard it said like this. And as an adult, this rings true. But as a child, knowing this, I can't imagine the kind of impact that would have on you. That's really powerful, because in actuality, as a kid, you don't realize how powerful you are, in that no matter what someone is saying, if you feel good about yourself, that is more powerful than what anyone else is saying to you or about you. Yeah. The next one that really resonated and stood out to me. This is just a little bit addition to what her father said. How you view yourself becomes everything. It's your foundation, the starting point for changing the world around you. I learned that from my father. My father's visibility helped me to find my own. The next point that I really loved and that resonated was your limits aren't mine. I think it is so easy to feel limited in certain spaces, but also pushing back on the limits people try to place on you. And that can be friendships, personal relationships with, loved ones or partners. And in this instance, she told a story about Stacey Abrams, where she had won this award, and she got to go to this big governor's, I think it was the governor's house, for this big party. And her parents rode the bus there, and she was so excited because she, was so smart and had, kept her grades up, and they were invited there with the rest of the children that had kept up their grade point average. And the guy at the gate, the security guy, without checking the list, turned her around and told her she didn't belong there. And she was all dressed up in her, her nice little dress. You know how kids dress, with her parents. And she said, I do belong here. Check the list. I'm on the list. And he would not check the list. He told her, no, you don't. This is for these people. This is for those students that kept their grades up. This is a private party that the governor's having. You're not invited. Long story short, he ends up checking the list. She's on the list. But she had to fight to get into a party that she had been invited to, all because someone at the gate, a security person, had placed a limit on her and told her, no, you don't belong here. You're not invited. Without even checking the list. So that is a great reminder of not allowing people to place limits on you based on their own made up stigmas about others. The only limits that can be placed on you are the ones that you place on yourself. And she spent her life trying to prove this person wrong. Let's see, the next part I really loved, and this is just a quick one. This is like a little poem, a snippet, and it has, we are each other's harvest. We are each other's business. We are each other's magnitude and bond. And that's by Gwendolyn Brooks. And it says from Paul Robinson. And when I read that really reminded me of family. The family we're born with, but also the family that we create. And that reminded me of that because for Easter, I got together with my mom's side of the family. We all had dinner. And while I was there, while we were all enjoying each other and fellowshipping, I was reminded of the bond that we have. even though we don't see each other all the time, everyone's moved away, we're just dispersed in different areas. It reminded me of how important community is, how important reconnecting is. And it reminded me of how safe you can feel and be, because it's so familiar. They've known you since you were a baby. They've corrected you, they've loved you. And my grandmother, who's the matriarch, she's passed. I just thought about it today. It'll be 10 years in October that she's been gone. And I was reminded that our family is the harvest. We are each other's business. Next. The next thing that really resonated that I wanted to share, and I thought this was really interesting. On social media, and on this is page 141. She says here, as the social psychologist Jonathan Haidt has pointed out, thanks to the design of social media, we are performing more often than we are connecting. And I think when I read that, I felt it. We are performing more than we are connecting on social media. When I scroll down, actually Facebook isn't like that, but when I scroll down Instagram or Twitter, it does feel very performative. It does feel just, it feels false. It doesn't feel real. All the dance and all the, it does feel performative. And I think that's why I started to pull back. And I think in addition to that, I think I started to pull back because I started to realize, like, everyone's selling something to me. I don't even get to see the people I follow. Like, my friends would tell me something about their daughter or other things, and I would not even have seen their post. I had no idea. And I thought to myself, wow, I got on here to connect and stay in touch with friends and family, and of course, follow others' journeys and meet new people and connect. But my timeline doesn't reflect that anymore, and it used to. Now I'm seeing all these ads and suggested people, and some of it's great because it's like meditation stuff, but some of it is just like, what is this? And it does feel very performative, which made me want to withdraw and pull back. And now my place is YouTube normally now, because at least it feels more real. People's videos feel more real. I feel like it's more of a connection here than people just doing a 30-second clip of dancing and throwing stuff at you and just I don't know. Anyway, think about that. And then it talked about how important, she says here, when we drop our fears about newness and open ourselves to others, even through quick and casual interactions, even while masked, saying hello to someone in the elevator, for example, or chatting in a grocery line, we are practicing an important form of micro connection. We're signaling a general okayness between us, adding just a drop of social glue to a world that desperately needs it. And I think when I read this, it reminded me of them talking about the loneliness pandemic that really came about during COVID-19 when people were having to be isolated and they couldn't go out and leave their homes. And I can see from looking at social media, if that is your only form, if you're not like in a group with other people, like on maybe Facebook or something like that, if you're just scrolling, I can see how you could definitely feel lonely if you don't have any other outlet or source outside of the social media realm, because you're not, excuse me, you're probably not sincerely connecting because people are performing and not really talking to each other. More like talking at each other. And the last thing that stood out to me that I just wanted to share was, this is just a little snippet as well on page, I guess this is 215. What we don't see, we assume can't be. What a destructive assumption. Octavia Butler. Octavia. She has some books I really want to read. She does like sci-fi stuff, but she is so right. If you were a Black person when Michelle Obama and President Barack Obama became the Black couple in the White House, I mean, I feel like my time's up. Quick thing though, before I go to the door, we were so proud. We could not believe that that was happening. And it opened up people's minds to what was possible. I mean, young kids decided, I want to be president. I want to be first. I want to. So it is so important that we see people out here that look like us, that are doing the things that we desire to do, because it then makes it possible for us. Anyway, gotta go. Kids out of school. Talk to you later. Stay in peace, stay positive, and stay empowered. Take care. Bye-bye.